Bueno. In the preterite conjugation of er and ir verbs, we've also got some very special cases. These are verbs that the stem of the verb, the root of the verb, ends in a vowel. With these verbs, we need to do some special spelling changes when we conjugate in the preterite tense. In the present tense, Leer and Creer, two of the examples we're going to be working with today, are regular er verbs, and oír, to listen and hear, is an irregular verb. In the preterite tense, all three of these are irregular, as I said, in their spellings. What we have to do is called an orthographic change. We need to change the spelling to maintain the pronunciation of the word. Let's look at what those two changes are. The first change is an I to Y change, and this happens in both of the third-person conjugations. The third-person singular conjugation in the preterite tense for er and ir verbs, that ending is usually io, I-O with an accent on the O. For these vowel-ending verbs, vowel ending meaning they end in a vowel in the stem of the verb, that ending is going to change to yo with an accent on the O, Y-O. And ieron, our third-person plural conjugation, I-E-R-O-N, we're going to change that spelling from I to Y and Y-E-R-O-N. So those are our two third-person conjugation orthographic changes. The other changes happen with the first and second person. We're going to add accent marks on the I. And remember, in Spanish, when you add an accent mark to an I, you take out the dot of the I. You don't put those two things next to each other. The accent mark replaces the dot on top of the I. So I to Y, an accent mark changes for verbs that in the infinitive end in a, I'm sorry, not in an infinitive, the stem of the infinitive ends in a vowel. So let's look at our three examples again. Creer, leer, and oír. Let's conjugate creer first, starting with yo. Yo creí, tú creíste, usted, él, and ella creyó, nosotros y nosotras creímos, and ustedes, ellos, and ellas creyeron. Now leer. It's going to look pretty similar to creer. Leí, for yo. Leíste, for tú. Usted, él, and ella leyó. Nosotros y nosotras leímos. And ustedes, ellos, and ellas leyeron. And lastly, oír. Oí, oíste, oyó, oímos, oyeron. Third person I to Y changes, first and second person accent marks added. Got that? Let's see. So what letter change happens when we have er and ir verbs that end in a vowel in the stem? You got it. Instead of an I, use a Y. We change that I to a Y in which conjugations? First, second, or third person? Third person singular and plural. What do we do in the first and second person preterite conjugations of these verbs? What do we do to that I? Add the accent. So if I was going to conjugate creer for ellos, I wanted to say they believe, what's my conjugation translation going to be? Creyeron with a Y. Remember, that's an orthographic change to maintain the pronunciation of the word. Last question. How would you conjugate oír in the preterite for yo? Oí. Great job. Little translation practice. My parents did believe. Mis padres creyeron. I read the letter last night. Yo leí la carta anoche. La carte, sorry. La carte is misspelled. That should be la carta. Yo leí la carta anoche. He heard the children. Él oyó los niños. You believed in God. Tú creíste en Dios. She did read the magazine. Ella leyó la revista. And we heard the bell. Nosotros oímos. Qué bien. Well done.